So the CEO of Ubisoft released a statement about the Stop Killing Games initiative, and I have kind of mixed feelings about it because a lot of what he said, like, I think is okay, cool. They're learning their lesson. They are wanting to change things, or at least stating that they're wanting to change things, and are hopefully going to follow through with what they're saying about wanting to change things. But also just hypes onto this thing again that keeps happening with this and with issues in general, with a lot of stuff in general, but with this Stop Killing Games initiative thing in general, not seeming to understand the initiative, seeing the initiative and not doing enough research or just not being able to understand it, or listening to someone else who doesn't understand it and then interpreting through the lens of that person not understanding it and causing more issues. But ultimately, I'll say, like, I think he's heading in the right direction here, and I'm not too mad at him for it, but still, like, goddamn, just understand what is being said here. So to start with, one of my big issues is with, like, the fact that he doesn't understand it. So here's his statement that he released when he was asked by, who was it? I believe it was during a board meeting. Let me double check here. I'm reading an article to make sure I got everything right. Yeah, it was at an annual shareholders meeting, or he was asked about it at an annual shareholders meeting and his feelings about it, and et cetera, et cetera. So his response was, regarding the petition, we operate in a market, and whenever we release a game, we provide a lot of support for that game. We also provide a lot of services to make sure that game is accessible and remains playable 24/7, which starts out just as a nothing burger response. It starts out very much as, yes, we sell things, and when we sell things, we support those things, and we do things. Yes, we do. We do, in fact, do things, but also kind of hints at him not understanding the initiative, because that part of it, we provide a lot of services to make sure that game is accessible and remains playable 24/7, implies that he is still one of the people that is operating under the belief that the Stop Killing Games initiative would require them to continue to support the game. And that's not what it does. That has been said 1,000 times by 1,000 people, by 1,000 commenters, by 1,000 YouTube channels, by Ross himself. On the FAQ page, if you bother to do the reading, if you take 10 minutes out of your day and read it, that it is not asking them to continue to provide that support. It's just not stopping. It's just asking for people to not be stopped from playing it, from there being some arbitrary trigger that says you have to connect to our server or connect to this, and we're not supporting that anymore, so you can't play it. That's all it's asking for. And this response of, oh, well, we provide a lot of support to our games, it just makes it seem like he doesn't understand that. Guillermo, I'm just going to say CEO, that I don't know how to pronounce that name, also stated that players and buyers are forewarned when a Ubisoft game is going to be shut down, and that with the crew specifically, and I'll say this is a good move. This was a good move. With the crew specifically, Ubisoft offered its successor, The Crew 2, on sale for $1 for a fortnight prior to the original game shuttering. For just €1, they got to buy the next version. €1. It's not a lot of money to be able to continue playing a game. Now, I will say that is a good move. That was a very good move on their part, and I think I appreciate that, of them being like, listen, we're shuttering this game, you're not going to be able to play it anymore, but we do have a sequel, and we're going to offer that to you for very, very cheaply, because ultimately the difference between $1 and free is not that much, and I imagine there might be some level of, like, hey, they had to charge at least $1 kind of thing. I don't know. Saying we're going to give you the sequel, but we're going to take away what you have, is still kind of out of touch with what the goal is. One, I never played the Crew, but I did read a little bit, and from my understanding, the Crew 2 is not as good as the Crew 1, or at least at the time, the Crew 2 was not as good as the Crew 1. We've all played sequel games that are just worse than the previous games. If you played the Dynasty Warriors Empire series at all, then you know that sometimes the sequels are just worth. Like, after Dynasty Warriors Empires 4 or 5, every sequel has gotten progressively worse. So to say, hey, we're taking away the version that you like and you enjoy, but we're offering you a worse version for basically free, is still kind of an out-of-touch statement and doesn't harp on the fact of what the players, what the people signing the petition want, is the game itself to remain in a playable state. Not to receive any support from them. Not to, require them to continue to maintain servers and provide updates and blah, 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 just to stop there from being some arbitrary thing that stops them from playing it. So it still seems out of touch with that, which is getting more and more kind of frustrating with people's responses to this petition, when most people's responses seem to be along some lines of, well, we shouldn't have to support this. You don't. We shouldn't have to support this game that we don't want to support anymore. Or game developers shouldn't have to support this game they don't want to support anymore. You don't. You literally don't. You just have to make it so the player base can maintain it themselves. That's it. They understand. And it's one of those things that sometimes I think it's intentional when some people are doing it. I think they are intentionally misconstruing it so that they can basically have a straw man argument that is easy to understand that they can beat. Because it's basically saying, they're creating this fake argument that people are saying we should continue to throw money after something that's costing us money and not making us anything. And most people will be able to understand, like, no, that's not a sustainable thing for a business, but that's not what they're asking for anyways. So a lot of times I think that these people are throwing up these strawman arguments of, well, this is what we don't want to do this. Cool. We're not asking you to. That's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to do something completely different. And sometimes I think it's just a misunderstanding, or people relying on like this telephone game of, well, they heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody who heard it from a YouTube video that wasn't accurately representing it. So now that's the argument that they're going based off of, which is a problem. But I will say that was a good move on Ubisoft's part, at the very least, to offer the sequel for $1 or €1. But nonetheless, you're not actually addressing the issue at hand. And this article goes on to say, yeah, they are. The Crew 2 is a sequel, not a continuation of the same game, which the people that wanted to continue to play the Crew 1 want to continue to the same game. I mean, similar concept, it would be like if, say, Bethesda all of a sudden revoked all the licenses for Oblivion, and I know this is more in touch with what's happening right now, and Bethesda tend to be pretty good guys with this stuff, but if Bethesda had revoked all the licenses for Oblivion, but then said, here's Skyrim, we got Skyrim for you, cool, you want that? You want that for $1? Yeah, people might want that for $1, but it's not Oblivion. It's a completely separate game. It's a lot different, and there are going to be people that paid for Oblivion, that prefer Oblivion, that want Oblivion, and don't want Skyrim. So it's a bit of a out of touch response to an extent, but I can kind of see where it's coming from. At the very least, they tried to do something with it. Again, the CEO then points out that all video game publishers are faced with the issue of changing or ending services. You provide a service, but nothing is written in stone, and at some point the service may be discontinued. Nothing is eternal, and we are doing our best to make sure that things go well for all players and buyers, because obviously support for all games cannot last forever. Again, further showing that they are not understanding what is being asked for. What is being asked for is not ongoing, endless, eternal support. It's leave it in a playable state, remove whatever arbitrary restrictions there are that stop players from playing it, not that they're asking you to continue to support it. So when the people in power, when the decision makers of these situations are not understanding, either willingly, maliciously, or just through some level of incompetence, not understanding what is being asked for, and then they're answering questions about it and addressing issues about it without understanding it, that is a problem. And to be fair, that is a problem with the fact that the Stop Killing Games thing is slightly vague, as some people have said. That does cause an issue, because the more vague it is, the harder to understand. But like, it's not so vague that this concept should not be understood. It's not so vague that if someone put in 10 minutes of time reading the website and reading the FAQ and reading everything, that they would not be able to understand what is going on. They're just getting this knee-jerk reaction, and that is a problem. But again, on the Ubisoft kind of being like the good guys here, in a little way, not necessarily the good guys, but at least trying to improve. Like, I'm not going to fault a company for making a faux pas, screwing something up, and then being, oh, damn, we messed that up. We're going to fix this in the future. If you want to hold companies or people or anyone or any organization in general to, like, the worst, like, the mistake that they made, whatever faux pas they made, and then not acknowledge and not, give them at least a little bit of credit when they say, We recognize we made a mistake. We're gonna fix that. Then what do you even want? Like, what? All that's just to say, I'm gonna throw them a little credit here. I'm gonna throw Ubisoft a little credit here, because it does seem like Ubisoft, apparently they have a offline mode in The Crew 2, and that they have claimed that they have such safeguards will be put in place for The Crew 2 that will allow continued offline play. The CEO said, likewise point out in his response, we also announced that the game would be available offline in the future so that players could continue to play it. So this is an issue that we've been dealing with. That's awesome. They recognize that there was a mistake, that they screwed up, that they probably got a lot of hate. Whether or not they're doing it for the noble reason of realizing, oh my God, we did a bad thing and we want to fix it, or they're just doing it for the PR reason of, oh my God, people are really mad at this, I want to fix that. It doesn't really matter to me, because ultimately they are fixing the issue, because they are allowing the Crew to be played, the Crew 2 to be played in an offline state in the future. And hopefully that will transition also, since they have that ability, that will transition into people being able to host servers privately once they decide to end of life the game. That is the hope. Guillermo concludes by reiterating the point about services having a shelf life, which is once again, he concluded with doubling down on not understanding what is being asked for. Guillermo concludes by reiterating the point about services having a shelf life. The lifespan of a piece of software, whenever there's a service component, eventually services may be discontinued because eventually the software may become obsolete over time. A lot of tools become obsolete 10 or 15 years down the line. They're no longer available, and that is why we release a new version. And so we have a version 2 and then version 3, but clearly this is a far-reaching issue, and we are working on it. I appreciate and I respect the fact that they are working to fix the issue. They are trying to find a solution for players to fix the issue. But the need to double down on not understand. And the funny thing is, too, like, it might very well be that he just doesn't understand. Like, he is completely misinterpreting. He's been misinformed, or maybe there's a language barrier that he's misinterpreting. I don't know. But misinterpreting what is being asked for and then doubling down on being wrong is just, it's funny to me. It is. But that's my quick update on that. Ultimately, I think this is, like, I'm going to be upfront. I'm going to say I think this is a very, very good response. I think this was a phenomenal response in a way, because he is saying in this, whoops, we fucked up, we're going to fix it. I think there's a lot of misinterpretation of what's going on, and I think that's an issue in and of itself. But I think that this is actually a very, to me, positive response. Listen, we made a mistake. In the future game, we are going to fix this. We thought we offered a solution by offering, the number 2 one for free, the Crew 2 for basically free. I mean, it's €1, but that is effectively free. We made a mistake. That wasn't a solution that people were happy with. We're working on fixing it. So those are my thoughts on that. If you would like, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Every bit of engagement that a video gets helps it do better. Every little bit of engagement that a video gets tells YouTube that people like this just a little bit more. There's the watch time, which helps a lot, but then the extra bits of engagement means YouTube is going to push it further, which is going to help this video grow, and it's going to help the channel grow, and I like that a lot. And as the channel grows, as hopefully it gets to the point where it's making enough money that I can hire my editor to help me full time. We can put out more videos. We can start tackling bigger topics and more topics, which is something I really want to do. I'm trying to spread out right now as is. I'm going to start doing the Subnautica video stuff. I'm finally decided I'm going to track that. The Subnautica lawsuit. I'm going to start doing Subnautica lawsuit videos. And just the more the channel grows, the more engagement you leave, the better it is for analytics, the more likely it's going to happen sooner of me being able to, basically put out videos full time. And on that, if you would like to sign up as a member, we're getting ready for some members only content kind of stuff, and we're gonna get on there. There's a few benefits will pop up on screen, but ultimately the big thing for that for me is all the membership money is going to go straight to my editor until it gets to a point where I can hire him on full time. Then it's going to be dispersed between increasing the team and a little bit to me, but like the biggest lump sum of it, like for now, all of it is going to go straight to my editor until it gets to the point where I can hire him on full time. So yeah, like, subscribe. Thank you. Bye.